Buenos dias, buenas tardes, and buenas noches, at whatever time you're tuning in. Welcome to Business Matters podcast with Laura Nowlin. And I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, CS Now Staffing. You can reach them at 702-902-2448. Make sure that you hit the link below and like us, follow us. And today my guest here is Sergio Barajas. Thank you, Sergio, for joining us. You're coming all the way from California.
Yes, thank you for the invitation.
Yes, and so what did I hear? That your drive was, what time did you end up leaving?
Well, I got up pretty early, but left the house right about 4. So here we are.
God, we're very, very grateful and honored to have you here. Now, what we want to know, are you originally from California? Where are you from? It's pretty much nothing is scripted. It's all, we basically speak from the heart and shoot from the hip. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. No, so I'm born and raised in California. Actually grew up in the Compton-Linwood area. So that's the beginning.
So Compton are the barrios, no?
Well, yes, it was much different when I was growing up there, right? Today it's predominantly Hispanic. Back then it was predominantly African American. So great place to grow up when traded for the world.
Right. I grew up in the city of Redlands, was born in Mexico, but a lot of orange grove trees back then.
Yes.
Now you can barely find them, right?
Right.
We've knocked them all down.
They're all gone.
Yes. And so tell me, right now you're the executive director for the National Hispanic Construction Alliance. Can you share a little of, how we even got there?
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. About 4 years ago, NAREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, at their national conference, Home Depot was a sponsor, and they asked for a round table of contractors. And we thought that we would have a challenge getting contractors to show up and, leave the job site and come and talk to us in Home Depot. And so we had allocated, I think, like 10, 15 seats for that discussion. Well, we ended up with about 40 people.
Wow.
And so what that told us is there's a need.
There's a need.
And a need that's not being met. So that's what kind of prompted us to start this venture down this path.
And when we say contractors, we mean construction, in the field of construction, right? Contractors.
Yes. Yeah. So again, I think that it's certainly contractors. At NHCA, we're focused on both the contractor and the labor that staffs the contractor, right?
Definitely. What are you guys finding right now in California? Because that's the area that you're servicing the most. That's where you live. But then there also are, we'll talk a little bit more, but let's find out. California, what are you guys struggling with the most right now in the construction field? Well,
I think it's just the sheer capacity and shortage of construction workers. We've got a unique situation in California right now around construction. Number one, we have the fires.
Yes.
We already had a shortage of labor. We've got the Olympics coming. We've got the impact of tariffs. And then, of course, we've got the ongoing immigration enforcement. So all of those are creating a difficult situation in California, specifically in the greater Los Angeles area.
Now, you're seeing a lot of people leaving California and going into other states. How is that impacting you guys as well?
I don't think that that's a big impact on us. I think that there's a lot of construction going on for all the reasons I just mentioned. But I think that the one thing that people do fail to recognize or realize is that residential construction is typically the space that gets hurt first when there's a shortage of labor, because folks prefer to be on commercial construction jobs. They prefer to be working on infrastructure because those jobs typically pay better and they have better hours, let's put it that way.
Right.
And so residential is the area I think that's suffering the most. But certainly the move of people out of the state isn't what's kind of driving that issue for us.
Like I said, I lived in California and I relocated to Nevada, but I couldn't bring the beaches with me. I couldn't bring all the beautiful greenery. I couldn't bring that with me. Right. So California does still have a lot to offer. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can beat California's weather.
No.
Weather, wineries, and, the only W we don't have is whiskey. So weather and wineries we've got.
Many, right? So now the National Hispanic Construction Alliance was birthed what year?
So we announced the creation of the organization in September of 2023. Mm-hmm. We really took that fourth quarter to put together our business plan, but we started executing against that business plan right about 14 months ago.
So 14 months ago, and in 14 months ago, then where did you go next? What was the next state that you guys targeted?
Well, so 14 months ago, we started looking to establish our first chapter, and our first chapter actually just had its 1 year anniversary this month, Los Angeles. So they hit the 1 year mark, but we certainly have Las Vegas and
Yes.
Phoenix. They're going to hit their 1 year mark here as well. And we have 4 other chapters, Nashville, Denver's coming up on the 20th of this month, Charlotte, and San Diego. So we've got 7 strong chapters, and we probably have another 10 or so that we're incubating right now.
So what background do you have that you felt, no, I'm a good fit for this particular position as the executive director?
Well, early on in my career, more than 20 years ago, I was director of housing for the city of Los Angeles. And so even though I never swung a hammer, I managed some of their affordable housing construction, and I did the same with the redevelopment agency. So standing up the National Hispanic Construction Alliance is a lot like managing a project.
Yes, yes, yes.
And except it's targeted to a specific audience versus a specific building, so to speak. So.
Well, I'm really honored that you actually started this organization here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that I was asked to be part of the board. My background that I bring is I was a housing director, same thing, at Neighborhood Housing Services of the Inland Empire back in California for 5 years. So I administered the program of the city of Rancho Cucamonga, Highland, a program called Home Start. We were actually putting people in homes here in Las Vegas from California. We became #1 in the nation under the Neighbor Works program, under the mothership. And so I felt, okay, well, I do have something to offer, along with owning a staffing company, and I'm almost my 19th year of literally working in trying to put people out to work, right? So I believe that we both are very well qualified for the positions that we serve. I serve on the board as the education director.
Yeah, well, the construction and the housing space is so big, right? Housing is a subset of the overall construction space, but it's such a large space. And you're right, you kind of dip your toe in one part of it and you start to absorb the balance of the space.
Yeah, we actually started a homeownership center education component under Nevada Hispanic Business Group to try to get all the small business owners to be able to put their employees in homes.
That's great.
Yeah. So, Sergio, where do you see the organization going? Like, what direction? How many more chapters are you guys going to be opening?
Well, this year our goal is to get to 15 chapters. So that
15.
means, yes. So that means we have 8 more to go this year. So that'll be a heavy lift. Our goal is to also get to 5,000 plus members. And so I think that goal is I won't say easier, but much more attainable, right?
It is.
Our biggest challenge is making people aware in every market that we go to that we're there, we're aggregating resources, we're aggregating contacts, and that they should come to us for help, right? And I think that's probably our biggest miss as an organization, is not being able to do more for the Spanish-speaking contractor and construction worker. So we really want to do what we can to bring them into the conversation. We're already offering or making available blueprint reading in Spanish.
Qué bueno, qué bueno.
Bidding and estimating in Spanish. So these are tools that'll help them improve their businesses. But again, that's our goal for this year. If you're talking beyond this year, I think the sky's the limit. I mean, again, Hispanics make up 30+% of the overall construction workforce, and that number is not going to go down. It's going to increase over time. I think the projection is that within the next 15 to 20 years, we will be a majority nationally.
Wow.
So 50+%, right? So.
Okay, so if there's someone that's watching our show today that says, God, I want to bring this to our state, what are you going to recommend? Because I'm sure you're probably getting calls and you're like, well, you got to help me do the work over there in your state too, right?
Well, yeah, we actually have a lot of folks calling us, out of New York was one of the most recent calls. Actually, I just had a call yesterday in Kansas City, and it's all about contacting us, and then we walk you through kind of the chapter creation process and how to stand up a board. And obviously we're very hands-on. We have a process that we've adopted. And so sometimes I feel like we're out there and we're being prophets and we're evangelizing because we're trying to get people to commit. And so I say that to say we just need 12 apostles in each market. If we can get a board of 12 to help us spread the mission, spread the word, spread the vision, then that's really what gives us a foothold in that community to start to help them.
You know, and I can say that when you're going to sit on a board, really consider thinking how much time you have to spend on it, what you truly bring of value to the organization, and make sure that your goals, personal goals, or your company's goals align up with the nonprofit. Right?
Yeah.
Because if not, then you end up signing up to be on a board, and then a few months later, a few weeks later, you're like, deuces, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, and you're always going to have a little bit of that, right?
Yes, you will.
And I think that we always believe people have their heart in the right place.
Yes.
And sometimes they just figure out, okay, well, my heart's in the right place, but I've got some other work I need to do. And that's okay. But again, I think that folks that stick around long enough to see kind of the fruits that are being created by efforts, not just by us, but by the chapters, really. It's the boards that really deliver on a market by market basis. I think that it's great work.
And so in order for us to be able to provide the type of workshops, the type of events that we're putting together with each of the chapters in each of the states, we're trying to not charge anybody coming to the event. So then that way it's an education piece,
Correct.
An education component. So then can you talk to me a little bit about what type of sponsors you're looking for? If someone wanted to sponsor, how should they do it? Is it better to do it on a national level, on a local level?
That's funny. Well, it really depends on what you're trying to deliver, right? And so if you're a national entity that has a product that's available nationally, for example, you should be a national sponsor, right? And then we'd put together kind of a business plan for you through that partnership that says, hey, here's what we need to do to get this out to the 7 chapters that are currently in place. Here's what we can do to get it out to the upcoming 10. And guess what? We're so nimble right now that if you had a priority market and you came in at the right sponsorship level and you had a market that you wanted to drive a chapter to, we're open to that discussion, right?
Did you guys hear that?
And so I think that's key. So let's say, for example, if you were headquartered in, I don't know, Minneapolis, and you liked what we were doing on a market by market basis, but we weren't in your, quote unquote, home office territory, then talk to us about that. And I don't have any doubt that we can do that. The reason I believe that is because if that's your home office, then that means you're married to that market.
Right.
And you want to see it succeed. So you're going to help us stand up a board there.
Yeah. And so out of the 14 months that you guys have formed, or we have formed, right? Because I'm part of the organization, what have been the biggest challenges and hurdles?
Well, I think the biggest challenges for us continue to be a little bit on trying to get our marketing on a national level. I think at the local level, we're doing a pretty good job. And so expanding that. But I think that as I continue to kind of evolve with what we're trying to do, we need to do more to pull in the Hispanic construction worker. And I've said that once before, and I'm going to say it again. If we had a better alignment with the Spanish-speaking construction worker and contractor, we'd be twice our membership right now, without a doubt. And I think that's one of the things that we're really going to be working on here over the next 6 months.
So I think, Sergio, a lot of the construction people, they speak Spanish, right? So that means,
Por supuesto.
¿verdad? Vamos a tener que empezar a hablar español y hacer programas en español in order for us to be able to target that workforce. I can tell you that when I interview, we're interviewing in English. And the reason we interview in English is they have to be able to at least understand safety.
Yes.
So it could be broken up English, but we've got to get you through that process of the English language minimal.
Right.
So that is one of the barriers then that we're facing. Another would be not having enough workforce. Me being an expert in the field, but being in this field for such a long time, I can tell you that we're no longer competing just in the United States. We're competing worldwide for talent. And so what can any of the government officials out there, legislators, what can they do to help with that? What are you seeing traveling to these different states?
Well, I think that there's a lot of great organizations doing great work, and some of them are privately funded, some of them are funded by the government. And I think that there are a lot of pipelines that are out there to create the talent. There's just not enough going through those pipelines, right? And maybe that's a lack of awareness that a program exists. And I think that's one of the big benefits that NHCA can provide on a market by market basis. Whether it's working with the Home Builder Institute and all of their academies across the country, or other organizations that provide that type of information, it just needs to be better marketed. So I can't critique the amount of money that's being invested in it, because I feel like we're not leveraging what's there right now. So let's continue to better leverage what's out there and available right now.
So sometimes we're not using the money properly, or we just didn't analyze on what to do. Because I'm going to tell you that we have a shortage of people. We're not having babies.
Yes.
Okay, all right, Sergio, what were you going to say?
Well, what I will say, it's not that we're not using it properly. It's that if we have a classroom that's set up to train 20 people and we've got 15 people in there, then we could have done
better.
some more, right? We could have done better.
Yes.
And I think the other point you bring up starts to talk a little bit about, the immigration issue.
Yes.
If you don't have enough people, how are you going to fill the gaps? I mean, the Hispanic, you've seen our report, the State of Hispanics in Construction, that we put out, released in February of this year. All of the net increases that have been realized in the construction workforce from 23 forward, that was really all attributed to Hispanics coming into the construction workforce. So there was a net loss of amongst other groups, but there was a true net increase that resulted in a overall increase because of Hispanics coming into the industry. And so I'm not sure how immigration policy is going to impact us long term. What I do know is if we're just looking at that immigration component, Hispanics make up about 75% of that immigration component. So, we got to be aware that immigration policies impact construction.
Oh, definitely does. Yes. It impacts all industries, right?
Absolutely. And we're aligned, ABIC, the American Business Immigration Coalition. We've been working with them a little bit. They're looking for responsible immigration reform because of its impact on construction, hotels, and agriculture. So I think that there's some good ideas out there. We just need to get more kind of buy into those ideas.
Oh, great. Well, once again, Sergio, thank you so much for coming on our show today. What is the best way someone can get a hold of you, and then just anything that you would like to share with our audience? And your camera is right there, so speak to it.
Well, I would say, first of all, the easiest way to get a hold of me is go to nhca.pro. That's our website. You're going to see contact information. Guess what? My direct contact information is there. So you can reach out to me directly if you want to establish a chapter. Happy to schedule time with anybody that's interested in doing this or just learning about what we're doing overall. I would also encourage you, if you touch any component of the industry, whether it's labor, whether you're a contractor, engineer, architect, lawyer who reviews contracts, just be aware that you're part of the ecosystem that we want to capture. Register, become a member. It's free, and you'll get all of our information as it's released.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much. God bless everyone. Till the next time.